PSGL is officially back, and I'm more than excited to start a brand new season on the brand new F125 game. In case you missed out on my PSGL sign-up process, make sure to go check out that video. It's hard to think that just over a year ago, I was making my PSGL debut with only a handful of you guys. But now, there's over 8,000 subscribers and counting, and I have you to thank for that. Thank you so much for the support every step of the way. I really appreciate it. With that being said, let's jump right on track into qualifying. On board with my first push lap of the session, and it's a little safe, but that's what we need on the first lap. Put a time on the board and push from there. But if you were to ask me, I'm not doing so hot because a lot of people are already doing my personal best, or close to my personal best, which is a minute 2.9 here. But for some reason in the session, I don't know if it's the nerve or whatever it is, I just can't seem to really pull a lap together. And even on the last lap, I only managed to improve by a tenth. Gaining here and then losing some there. Crossing the line, still only 1/10 improvement. 1.5 actually. And that is only good enough for a 1 minute 03.328. For now, it's P6. But as more and more people cross the line, it is going to drop us down to a P10. And honestly, I made a big mistake by not going for the softer allocation, because this meant we had one less set of the soft compound of tires. And the race being in the wet anyways, it meant we could have just gone for that. And we wouldn't have any trouble with the tire allocation in the race. And into the race we go. It is intercondition for 36 laps in a row. 5 lights and away we go. And it's a great launch off the line. Aliso gets a little caught napping, and right away people are crashing up ahead. And I couldn't understand why. Turns out a lot of people thought we were restarting. But guys, this ain't F124, and the rulebook says there are no restarts. So do your damn homework. Read the rulebook next time. And since half the grid quit after a first lap, we're gonna have to restart anyways. And since we did, there's no more rain. It's dry the entire time. No matter. I'm pretty confident in my race pace, and I knew in the race I would have the opportunity to shine. But off the line, Alessio kind of outbreaks himself there, and immediately we gain a position off the line. And now we're going uphill towards the infamous turn 3 corner that's always chaotic because people try to go 2 or 3 wide. And I'm gonna set up a better exit here, a better line through the corner. The medium runner on my left gets kind of boxed in by the kick salver, but he gets a better exit on the outside because he has wider line. But here, I'm going to brake a little earlier. I see that the Alpine is going very deep, and on the exit, I get a much better exit, and up towards the double left-hander, we make the move stick, and it's going to be P9 for now. And right away, I have to start looking after my tires, because after only a lap and a half, 7% on the rear left, and I get hit going into turn 3, and I'm not happy about that. But still, we managed to keep P9, and right now, it's all about staying in the train, which is all so tricky through the dirty air, almost getting my first invalidation there. A little lift really saved my life there. But at this point, the hard runners are already much faster than the medium runners, and the train is slowing down considerably. But for me, I don't really mind, because I know I'm gonna be going long at this point. The gears are already turning in my head, and I'm thinking, what if we went for the one stop? And right here, I start some extreme tire saving. Now you might wonder, isn't it too late to start saving now? Don't worry guys, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the best second time to plant a tree is now. But I digress, and I'm gonna push just hard enough to stay in the DRS.
The hard runners are doing the one stop, right? What if we do it too?
And let the guys in front drag me along for now. And with dirty air, it's impossible to go for a move right now anyways, not with these tires. And you can see right there how the tire wear is making driving super difficult. And jumping onto lap 14, my wear is up to 74% right now. It's very, very difficult. I do not want to risk a puncture, so we go in at the end of lap 14. This is where we put on a fresh set of hards. And we still have to make 23 laps actually on these hards, and that is not going to be an easy task. And right away I asked my engineer to give me a heads up on my current tire wear and what my target should be.
Can you tell me my tire wear every lap? Yeah, we need like 3% a lap or less than that. That was 4%. Okay, that was 3%. I like that.
If I want to make it. And after just a few laps, we've already caught up to our teammate who is on the 2-stop strategy, and his hards are very, very old by now. And going through wide here is probably the least ideal way to take this corner. And now it's all about the pace and clean air, but also having to nurse these tires. And on lap 23, somebody on fresh mediums has caught up to us. But for him, there's still 13 laps to go, and those mediums are going to be complete dog shit. by the end of this race. But if we can just stay with him on these hards, he can help us maximize our lap time on these hards. And it's also going to allow us to save a little more. But we have to be careful not to over push on these tires. Such is the fine line in F1 25. And to be fair, this is what real F1 drivers do. They rarely push 100% of the time. With 12 laps to go, we've actually caught up to the leaders once again. And this is good. This means we're gonna have a sizable gap to work with till the end of the race. 12 laps till the end. And all we need to do now is to manage these tires to get to the end in one piece. Only 2 seconds to the race leaders, and I'm even purposely allowing the gap to widen a little bit, having to burn a lot of battery. But since they're so close behind each other in the dirty air, it's going to allow us to stay in that 1 second gap. This is very, very good news, and I'm not gonna fight at all here. If they decide to slow down, I'll just regenerate. If they start to push, I'm gonna use overtake to stay in the DRS. Remember, Tom boxed 2 laps earlier than us, and we are within the 1 second window again. And here, something extremely weird happens. The Haas moves to the left, but then jumps back to the right at the last possible second, giving us wing damage. And that is very not ideal. There's 7 laps to go, and we have a 6-second gap to the net leaders that are on the 2-stop strategy. Technically, we are the net leaders, but since they're on the 2-stop, they're going to be pushing a lot harder and going to be a lot faster in this final stint. But with the wing damage, the understeer we are going to suffer through these high-speed corners is absolutely going to demolish us. But I'm thinking, since there's such a big gap, if I can just hold it out, limp home with half a wing, maybe, just maybe, we can still score some good points. The win is definitely out of contention now, but some good points are still on the table for us to grab. With 9 laps to go, the gap is 5 seconds to the first medium runner, first fresh medium runner. I'm not losing too much on the straights, but through the high-speed corners, this is what's killing me right now. And on lap 29, a lap later, we've lost a full second already. I'm looking at my tire wear. I'm currently at 51%. That's still 30% to play with because puncture this year is at 80% instead of the usual 70. But we're limping, driving half a car. This is an ailing V-carb that we are driving right now. Another second gone. But if I can just hold on, we can bring it home. Do you believe it? I certainly do. But on lap 30, they are already back within my DRS. And there's nothing I can do here. I can only let them go. But how many positions can we hold on to? I wonder. If not for that front wing damage, we'd probably still be ahead by a second or two. And that would have given us enough breathing room. But now, things are looking very dire. Very, very complicated for us. But thanks to the low downforce setup we're running, our top speed is absolutely through the roof. Even with their superior traction, they're not gaining that much. And I can stay ahead maybe for another lap. And this is going to allow me to survive a lap longer before I get swallowed by the train. But the Haas right here is gonna go for a move down the inside, and I shouldn't be fighting him, and I don't, as to not cause us too much race time, because I know it's futile. He's going to get me anyways, and I don't want to waste any of my precious tire wear fighting him. The tire wear indicator has come up now, and it's even looking less and less likely by the minute. First warning of the day as we cross the line. We are sitting in P2, and we have 5 laps to go starting from now. But how long can we hold on? And I'm thinking, what if we manage to stay in the DRS and use dirty air to defend from the guys behind? That should help us survive a little longer, right?
I hope he can stay here and then just pull us along.
And through turn 3, we actually stay in front for now, and being very careful with the throttle application. You can just see how scared we are of any wheel spin. Using 90% differential to help the rear tires stay cool in the corners. Somehow, we've survived another lap without losing a position. Could this be it? Could this be the best strategy anyone has ever attempted around Austria? But we are losing so much time through every corner, and I can push these tires and cannot stress them. And right here, the Haas is gonna pull out of DRS, and I have to use a lot of overtake to stay with him, somehow not getting another warning there, and onto the main straight. We're out of DRS, and this is gonna leave us defenseless onto the next straight, and this means we have to let him go. But so far, we are still holding on. We are surviving, and we're still sitting. We're thriving in P3. But this is where shit hits the fan, and the Mercedes has driven off into the distance, and we are currently in P2. P3 with no DRS, and the Merc behind is not gonna wait for another invitation. He's gonna go for it right here. And right here, I have to be very careful with what I do with my ERS and how I defend going into these corners. Because one wrong move could mean life and death. We're on to lap 35 now, and we are still somehow in P4, but the car behind is oh so close, and we have to use a lot of overtake here to defend. And it seems like Tom is also gonna want a piece of this, and it is going to be a 3-wide situation, but Tom somehow does not clip us. Nice racecraft there, and I get DRS on this straight to defend, and I have to move on to the outside here to attack, because if I don't, the cars behind are also going to attack me as well. But I get hit on the rear, and it compromises the braking performance, and now Justin has to recharge his ERS, and he moves onto the inside of the track, but now both cars behind me go for a huge lunge at the same time, and it takes us out of the race. And unfortunately, that is going to be it. No way we could have gotten back into the race after an incident such as that, especially on the tires that we were on. What a letdown after having fought for this many laps, holding on for as many laps as we did on the old hards. Unfortunately, that does mean DNF in the standings on the opening round of the season. Not ideal, I must say. Very much not ideal. However, next week, we will come back even stronger around the streets of the Jeddah Corniche circuit at Saudi Arabia. Make sure to subscribe as to not miss out on any of my progress inside PSGL. Thanks for watching. This is Formula Kai signing off, and I'll see you very soon. Ciao, ciao.